Leaf shower in my butt. Hey guys, this is Joel from the Fincastle Pokemon Gym, bringing you a veritable leaf hurricane of a deck today. This one started out with one of Logan's creations revolving around the Silver Tempest Clefairy, who with his little ability Moon Watching Party can put 6 or more energy in play in a turn, then tag out to a Wyrdeer and just blow up anything. And as I've said, probably more on the Fincastle Gym blog post than here, that if I can't get a deck working the way I want, I'm not presenting it. And Clefairy is more than viable, in a world without Dragapult EX that is, and that world does not exist at the moment. And I don't know if my experience is the same as everyone else's, but right now I'd say 7 to 8 games out of 10 that I play online are against Dragapult, and having a bunch of 60 HP guys in play that you can't protect is just not viable right now. But messing around with this deck set me on a quest to find a use for Wyrdeer V, because like I've said before, great cards are always great. You just have to find the right home for them, and Wyrdeer is great. He can fit into a variety of things, but what I'm going to show you today is a deck focused on Teal Mask Ogerpon EX. And how nice it is to be able to say the words Pokemon and Mask in the same sentence and not be talking about the subjugation of healthy young people by Pokemon Seattle. As always, let's look at Teal Mask Ogerpon EX and then we'll get into the deck. Ogerpon is a 210 HP grass type that's weak to fire and has a 1 energy retreat cost. He has the ability Teal Dance, which allows Ogerpon to attach a grass energy from your hand to itself and then draw 1 card, and each Ogerpon in play can do this once per turn. He has 1 attack, Myriad Leaf Shower, which for 3 grass energies does 30, plus 30 more for each energy on both active Pokemon. So basically it's 120 damage to start, but it can climb much higher very quickly. My last video emphasized the simplicity of Mewtwo V-Star and Xatu, and well, if you thought that was simple, then hold on to something because this is next level simple. Let's look at the list. How about that? Only 12 different cards in the entire deck. And I'm going to go ahead and jump to the giant green gorilla in the room first. Yes, there are 30 energy. Early on, probably 2010, maybe into 2011, we built a deck that Logan won the North Carolina State Championship with. Same event, I think I finished 17th at. With Mew Prime and Rhyperior level X that ran 38 energy. Outside of that, I can't remember one that ran this much, at least not one that we've played anyway. It seems ridiculous, but it's not. With multiple Ogerpon, you have decent draw power, but it's still only 4 cards a turn, which is why we have Gardenia's Vigor, actually 4 of those. Gardenia is similar to Wyrdeer, which helped Reshizard dominate the format back in the tag team era. The difference being that you draw 2 first and then attach from your hand and only to bench Pokemon, where Wyrdeer lets you attach anywhere you wanted to, but you had to have the energy in your hand at the start. So you can power up an Ogerpon EX in 1 turn, but that's not the main goal. The main goal is to dump enough energy onto the board so that you can switch to Wyrdeer and then blow stuff up, and be able to continue when Wyrdeer gets knocked out. And that was the problem I had with the Clefairy deck, is that I could quickly load up 1 Wyrdeer, but once he was knocked out, the game was essentially over because it was too difficult to set up a second one. To look at that a little deeper, let's do a little deer math. Wyrdeer's Psy Shield Bash, which is a low effort name by the way, does 40 times the amount of energy attached to Wyrdeer. So you need 6 energy to get those lower HP EXs, 7 to get a V-Star, and 8 to get a Dragapult EX. You don't have to do Charizard math because 3 energy on 1 Ogerpon EX, 1 hits Charizard thanks to the weakness. But even if you commit the full 8 energy to a Wyrdeer and he gets knocked out, you still have 22 energy left to work with. The most important thing is not to bench him until you want to use him. The low HP of Wyrdeer is an issue, as is the HP of Ogerpon EX. There are 2 cards here to address that. The first is the A-Spec Hero's Cape. The extra 100 HP from Hero's Cape takes Wyrdeer and Ogerpon to 320 HP and 310 HP respectively. And whether you get the cape down or not, that second card is Penny. Penny has multiple uses. It's great if you start with a Wyrdeer, so you can just pick it up and get it out of the way. If someone is damaged and not knocked out, you can pick them up and erase that damage. But not only does it let you shed that damage, You get everything back into your hand, including the energy, and even the cape if it's down. Penny can also be used if you're still digging for something, to just pick up an Ogerpon, then bench it again and use its ability a second time. And I'll often do that on a turn where I don't need to play another supporter. The item card Bug Catching Set is always going to net you something. More often than not, it will just be 2 energy, but it's like a Great Ball 2. There just aren't a lot of Pokemon to hit with it. Hisuian Heavy Ball is important in this deck because with this low count of Pokemon, you don't want anybody prize, especially the Wyrdeer. And the last card to look at, but probably one of the more significant cards to look at, is the Radiant Serena. I think maybe Serena is the answer to counter a Dragapult. Healing 20 damage from everyone on your side can either diminish or erase the extra counters that they try to spread around, which can remove those double knockouts that Dragapult always tries to set up. You could play Radiant Greninja here just for a little bit of extra draw power, especially with all this energy, but I really do like Serena at the moment. That's the list. This definitely operates like the Mewtwo V-Star deck from last week, in that it just keeps building on itself and gets to the point where your only decisions kind of become, which Pokemon am I going to take a knockout with? So that being said, let's get to some games. This first match is going to be one against, you guessed it, Dragapult EX. They went first. They just basically ended with Rotom the draw. We'll start with the Heavy Ball to make sure there's nothing prized. There is nothing prized, so that's a good thing. Play the Bug Catching Set. Like I said, that usually hits energy. Sometimes you can get an Ogerpon with it if there's still one in the deck. Use Nest Ball and go and get another Ogerpon. I think one of the nice things about this deck is I haven't seen anybody doing quite what I'm doing yet, so kind of hiding some of your tricks in this one is probably a good one. And go through the series of using the ability to attach a Grass and draw. Get a Gardenia's Vigor, excuse me. Now let's just attach 2 more. Another Bug Catching Set, still just energies with that. Got 5 in my hand at this point. We'll use the ability on the last Ogerpon. Draw 1 more. Got a couple bosses, but already used my supporter. I'm going to treat the active one. I'm going to do 120. I'm going to go ahead and attach for my turn. And let me do 150. I don't quite get the knockout, but gets me within range of maybe just grabbing that later. They get to a Dragapult EX, attached to the Rotom, use Evolution TM to evolve to a Dracloak, and then use Xatu. I guess conceding that Rotom will go down, which makes sense because they plan to set up double knockouts with this deck. I get a Vigor. I'm going to do that again. Start loading up a second Ogerpon here. Don't want to get too much energy just on one. It is kind of nice to spread it around, but I want to have one that hits hard enough to knock something out. I'm going to use the ability of the third one. And draw, surprise, surprise, another Grass energy. Guess that was actually my second. There's my third one. Play the Pokegear. Not much choice there. We'll just take another Penny. No real need to use Penny. I guess you could pick up this Ogerpon with the 1 energy and reuse its ability, but we'll hold what we have, go ahead and take the knockout, get 2 prizes here. They get to a second Dragapult and get the energy on the bench, but don't have a way to retreat, so they end with Rotom again. I think they play 2 Rotoms, it looks like. I get my 4th Ogerpon, use Gardenia's Vigor. And we'll go load up this one guy on the bench. He's getting to the range where he's going to be able to take out just about anything. Attach for our turn there. Or excuse me, with the ability there. Use the ability on the active. And keep on drawing energy, so we'll keep on attaching energy. Got Nest Ball there. That gives us the freedom to get the Wyrdeer. I'm not going to reveal that yet. Just going to hold on to that Nest Ball. Knock out that Dracloak. They boss up the 0 energy Ogerpon, then Phantom Drive, spreading those 6 damage counters across the 3 benched Ogerpon. Which again, that's why we play Radiant Serena. We'll be able to just wipe that all back off. Just barely misses the knockout on the active. We will go ahead and attach with the ability to the active. Another nest ball, so I've got everything in the deck actually now. So there's the Serena. I'll go ahead and use the other nest ball to get Wyrdeer. We got enough energy to, I think, one hit this Dragapult EX twice. Got the cape too, so we're going to go ahead and bump the HP up to 320 on Wyrdeer, and we'll need to move 8 energies here to get Dragapult in one shot. We'll take most of the energy off of the Ogerpon that had been in the active spot, and get a couple more off of the other one on the bench. Go and heal all of that damage off except for the one that they attacked in the active spot last time. Got one more dance to use. Gets us another energy, so we'll do that again. It's a never-ending stream of energy here. We'll go ahead and use Psy Shield Bash. 320 one-shot the Dragapult. Leaves us with only one prize card left to try to get here. They Iono me into one, use Alakazam to move a couple damage counters off the heavily damaged Ogerpon, then they Phantom Dive again. Gonna knock out the one that they hit on the turn before, and then of course they're gonna hit the Wyrdeer for 200. And on my turn, there's really no need to do anything else because I can still hit 320, so we'll just go ahead and knock out this last Dragapult. Being able to one-shot Dragapult really changes the dynamics of that game. Anything that cannot one-hit Dragapult is obviously going to struggle with it, especially being able to spread the damage around the way that it does. This second game is against Lugia V-Star, and I will tell you straight up, I don't understand how to play Lugia very well. And not to run down my opponent, which is why I don't show the name unless I'm playing against someone that I know. But I don't think most people do either. I'd hate to match up with people that know it in and out because I see how good it can be, and I'm sure those people are difficult to beat. But I don't think you can just take a list you saw at an event and play it. I think in Lugia you have to have an assignment for every energy in the deck, and you can't misplay those attachments. Whenever I play against it, people seem to always get hung up on the energy and not be able to attack at times because they have misplayed. For me, it's a deck it would seem that I would try to simplify. Maybe it's another home for a herd of Wyrdeer. And hopefully while I was jabbering about Lugia there, you could see the play with switching into the Wyrdeer, moving the energy up, and then pinning up that damaged Ogerpon. It's one thing with Lugia with double turbo is they can hit for 220, but double turbo takes it down to 200, so it's missing these guys. Got enough to one-hit the Lugia. I don't take 2 prizes because of that legacy. It reduces the number of prizes you take on a knockout by 1, so just take 1 prize there. Come back again and take another 200. I can't get to the cape yet. That seemed like that would kind of solidify this game if we could get there, but we'll go through and use the ability and get some more grass down. Use Gardenia's Vigor. Start loading up this one Ogerpon. This Lugia, everybody on that side of the Lugia field is really heavy on the energy requirements. That makes the Ogerpon be able to be a much better attacker in this matchup. Got another grass down with another ability. And we'll go ahead, and instead of trying to get this Wyrdeer out of the way, we'll just go ahead and take another knockout with it since we already have it set up to do 280. That does leave us vulnerable to the Iron Hands taking the extra prize with a knockout. But it appears they've run themselves out of energy in the deck, and there's bound to be some in their prizes, so they pass back to me. I'm definitely taking the opportunity to get that Wyrdeer out of harm's way now. Got enough energy on that Ogerpon to one-shot that Iron Hands. Only needed 240 to do that. They hit me again with their last Lugia, again just for 200 because they're reduced by the double turbo. And all I have to do is just attack one more time, finish off this Lugia. I'll attach 1 energy. Didn't need to do that. Hit him for 300 and take the last prize card. I don't know about you, but I'm not seeing what would keep this from succeeding at major events, much less your local game store. It outright owns Charizard. It has a good matchup with Dragapult. I haven't been able to catch a game with Gardevoir, surprisingly, since it dominated Nationals, and I'm sure that's a tough matchup. And I've played Lost Box enough to be pretty confident that this would do well against it. I think if I wanted to solidify it a little more after playing it for the last week, I might drop a couple of Arven in and maybe a Bravery Charm just to get a second tool to boost HP, but 3 cards would be super easy to accommodate. Maybe just drop a Boss or a Penny and 2 Energy and Shazam. You've got a 6 Pokemon deck that could make quite the presence in the format. Take a second, interact with our channel, give us a like, even if you're just here to grab the deck list. Watch my other recent videos, and who knows, maybe we can do something crazy like get to 100 subscribers. But until next time, be not afraid. Later.